And we are live. How is everybody? Oh man, it's a busy day today. Running around everywhere. How is everybody doing? Can you guys hear me? That's usually the thing that I usually ask everybody if you all can hear me because of course audio sometimes has an issue with all this stuff. All right, cool. You guys can hear me. Good. It's coming out. I like to test it out myself too, just to be safe, you know? Oh boy, this is the last spaces until earnings. Earnings in 3 days. I'll have a video for members only coming out today, and it'll be public for everybody on Monday. And if you're an ex-subscriber, I'll post some stuff today as well, and of course the video as well on what I think. But how is everybody doing? I hope you guys are having a great day. It's gonna be a shishi flippin' spaces, and I'm very excited. If you believe Tesla multiple visions, stack Tesla and stock in perpetuity, 5,000 by 2032. Sheesh. Yeah, it's a great long-term hold and solutions. Every single video and live, always commenting this. Shout out to you, my man. Love it. Larry, have I misread your X post? Are you expecting? Oh my God, I'm getting a lot of heat on this. And people are thinking that Elon is going to be stepping down. I'm just saying that if no, Elon's not going to be stepping down, um, because I came to this thought because I mean, all he's doing really at the moment is making better decisions for the company. Yes, it's fast decisions for the company, but what do I have my headphones on? I have nothing playing. But that's pretty much he's doing. He has a very strong staff in place that does really good work. And I'm thinking, what's so different from that being chairman? Maybe Elon wants, maybe the big announcement that we have on April 22nd is that maybe he wants to be chairman rather than CEO. But then, chairman doesn't have much power as CEO, but again, what is Elon doing at the moment? That's my question. Like I know he's pushing bots and FSD, but Elon said it himself many times that he doesn't really do much in Tesla anymore, other than make better decisions, and the team takes care of itself. So, but no, he's not stepping down. Everyone needs to relax. Everyone's going crazy on X. I'm stuck. No, he's not stepping down. I mean, I wouldn't want him to step down. But if he's gonna be chairman, maybe the market will say, okay, you know what, we'll actually have a CEO who is there full time. That's my thinking and reasoning. But that's just but I don't think he's gonna step down. Oh, it's always over, isn't it? What's going on, Dominic? Hope you're doing great. From Thailand, how you doing, Crypto Jazz? What's going on, Action? Lol, it's orchestrated FUD. Do you not realize that? I guess, but I mean, I wasn't trying to create anything, but I guess they're gonna run with it. God, it's ridiculous. But yeah, Q1 earnings is in 3 days' time, guys. How are you guys feeling? I'm thinking, uh, of course, it's not going to be a good earnings call. Sorry, earnings report. I think it's going to be a good earnings call. We're going to see what um, the company update is going to be. But I mean, based on what we're seeing, is rumors going around that the affordable models have been like canceled because of big orders have been canceled as well. So I mean, it's crazy, but what I see as what the big company announcement is going to be is like, okay, we're going to be launching FSD unsupervised in June, and we're going to be going hammer on that. And I think it's going to be a good company announcement. I think everyone's going to like. Probably Wall Street won't like, but long term, it's going to make the company much stronger and much better. When the world discovers that what I've been doing for the past 2 months, wow, refresh 3 FSD app up the yep, guys, man, it's insane, man. The FSD, that's what's gonna get all of us rich. I'm not a financial advice, but that FSD robo taxi is what's gonna get us all wealthy. That's all I'm gonna say. They delayed that photo model. Stock initially drops. Then Elon speaks about FSD in June and confirms they launch the stock goes back up. Man, who knows, man? It's a lot. It's a lot of these things that you know. Oh my God. Hold on. Let's see what my partner is saying. Scammer using your name. Okay. All right. I'm just contacting with my little partner here when we're going to. Wow. Whoa. 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 Okay. We're about to start. I think we're 10 minutes out, but it seems like they want to start early. I don't know. Let me see. 1 minuto. 1 minuto. Sorry, guys. Just give me 1 second. In the meantime, okay. So back to you guys. Just getting around with this stuff. All right. So what was I saying? Hello from Brazil. Good stuff. Brazil. We'll love to visit one day. Model Y sales numbers will be higher. Robotaxi coming up. Optimus bots coming up. Energy ramping up. Yeah, I mean, look, long term, there's no doubt about Tesla in the long term. There is no doubt about it. Absolutely no doubt. Are we starting now? Come on. Are we starting now? Do you want to start now? Okay, so ay 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 ay. Okay, we're not, they're not getting back to me yet. Okay, so we are just getting some checking done here and there. I wish I had two screens, man. It would have been much easier to do these things, to do these lives. Okay, so we're easy. All right. Looks like we're not starting yet. Not yet. Not yet. So, okay. Usually these streams go for about what, 3 hours? Sorry, about 2 hours actually. So just want to make sure everything's up. What's going on, Hadouken? Love it. Another live stream. Sheesh. Yeah, I can't wait for 22nd. That's gonna be an awesome live stream with uh, the earnings call and report and all that. How about you, Pejjy? I'm glad you'll be able to buy a Tesla in Saudi Arabia soon. I'm thinking maybe I can get it in Dubai because it may be cheaper, but I can take it to Saudi for service. My only concern was getting the service done if I need anything or if I get into an accident because only Tesla can, do repairs. So Saudi is much closer than Dubai or Qatar, and of course, Saudi is just right across the border. But now rumors are coming around that now Tesla may enter Kuwait as well. So that happens, then there's no more excuse. No more excuse. So I'm happy about that. The FSD software updates makes it inevitable for zero human intervention and critical engagements within a year. Each software update is exponentially more safe than the previous version. Facts. Action is speaking facts here. Love it. Greetings from the USA. USA. How you doing, my man? Hope you're doing great. We can do right about FSD robot. We can do right about FSD robot, everything. However, there are 10 more years ahead development to mature. I don't know. I think it's going to happen much sooner than that. I really do believe it's going to happen much sooner than that. But time will tell. Time will indeed tell. Um, but no, I do believe that FSD is not FSD. The bots are probably ahead of schedule. The way how they're, I mean, you guys saw that picture of the Gen 3. Usually, said it takes about 3 generations for it to become an actual product, and Tesla's already at 3rd gen. So that's a sheesh moment. Love the Model 3. I owned for 3 years before I retired and moved to Mexico. Ooh, nice. Now, refresh Model 3 is absolutely brilliant. I love the refresh Model 3. They did such a good job at it. Such a good job at it. Optimus will be capable of basic things at the beginning, like picking up stuff and moving stuff. Absolutely, that's the whole goal for the beginning. Now, when it comes to Q1 earnings, I'm seeing a lot of well, that's the name of this whole thing. I think Q1 earnings is going to be a miss, but who cares about the earnings? I think the earnings call is going to be fire. I think that's what's going to bring the stock back up. Um, So I think we'll talk about it in the space for sure, and I'll have a separate video coming out what I think the numbers are going to be. But 100%, I think that after the earning call, it's going to be great. I mean, maybe affordable models are delayed. Maybe. I don't know. There's rumors coming around about that. And there has been a supply chain, a big order that was cut, which was interesting. Don't know if that's to do with any affordable models, but it may. And this could be due to tariffs. Maybe this could be due to tariffs. However, though, um, a delay to I think I spoke about Joe about this on the podcast here, saying that he's expecting a delay or something, and it's happening. If it's happening, well, then it doesn't matter because it's the affordable models, not the affordable model, the cyber cap is what really matters. Okay, looks like we're about to start the spaces. Let's do this, guys. All right, let's see. Come on, connecting, start listening. Let's go. Okay, what was that? Was I playing my own thing? That's crazy. Anyways, join as speaker. Make join as speaker. Hold on a second. Can you hear me? Let's see if this works. Hello, Fa. Can you hear me? Fa?
Yes.
All right, great.
Yes.
Awesome. Fa, can you please make me co-host? I may need to add some people in as a speaker. Awesome,
There
awesome.
you go, my friend.
Oh, what happened? It just went away. What happened? Okay.
Can I do it again?
Yes, there we go. I think I accepted it. All right, cool.
Nice.
Cool beans. Sheesh. All right.
Dude, how's it going?
Good, good. I just want to say to everybody here, well, they're still coming in. We did start early today, but I just want to say that I love everybody. I love this whole community. I just I love. I don't know. This is a very unique community. I've never seen, the amount of interest and the amount of love that comes towards a company like this. Maybe it has to do with social media. I don't know, but man, I love it, and I love every single one of you guys.
Dude,
It's amazing.
you know what is remind me of? Like back in the day in America, like the Grateful Dead, like people wearing what is the shirt called? Tie dye, and they follow the band everywhere they go, and they like do barbecue in the parking lot, and they're all talking about their music. And Tesla community just like that, you know? Everybody just like share what they're thinking. I'm loving it.
Yeah, it's
Even
amazing.
even when even when the stock down, you know, when the stock down and people get mad, it's okay. You see, it's like it's like you see your friend how they react to stuff.
Yeah,
What what is very what is very fortunate about Tesla community is we have a lot of smart people here. It is they're keeping me busy. All of you guys keeping me busy. Like other than my toddler, all my time is with you guys. Like I listen to all the spaces. I listen to a lot of YouTube. And it's made me smarter. It's like Herbert is like get bright with Herbert. It's like that's so real. So I'm happy about it. Very happy about it.
yeah, me too.
So, Pejjy, this week, this week, my friend, I've been on vacation.
Sheesh,
So
nice.
tell me what up. Tell me what up. It is wild.
It's a lot. Like I've noticed. I mean, we've all seen Tesla posting a lot of stuff, more than usual, and I don't know why they're posting like this. Maybe because people are saying because Q1 earnings is going to be bad, and they're trying to pump it up before then, or they're trying to say that they're getting ready for the big company announcement or something. I don't even know what the speculations are. It's crazy, but
What do you think the big announcement?
Well,
It's
he
not earning call, right? But it's a
no
company update.
company
What is it?
update. Well, I mean that's the interesting thing, right? Because every delivery report that they have, they never mention this. So this is unique for this Q1. A company update usually consists of what the management's going to be or how where the company is directing where they're going to be. Now, a lot of speculations are going around that maybe Elon may be stepping down, and I made a post about it that if that's the case, it could be if he steps down as chairman, that could be not. I mean, not will, I mean, could be. I said will, but I said it could be bullish. I mean, I got a lot of heat for it. Of course, I don't want Elon to step down as CEO, but
No.
no, I don't think he is. I really don't think he is. However, though, I do think that he may, because look, what is Elon doing at the moment? He's just making decisions, right? Like he's not even, maybe once a week or twice a week he's in Tesla, and he's made this, he's made this clear too. So maybe he's. I mean, I don't see him stepping down as CEO, but I don't think it'll hurt the company if he goes to a chairman position. I don't. I mean that's because he's already making these decisions. But then someone reached out and they're like, no, if they go to chairman, they can't make fast, decisive actions as he would. But then I think the market or Wall Street will actually like this news because CEOs are usually 24/7 working at their company, and we know Elon doesn't do that. And because analysts think that way, it's bullish for them, but we retail investors know that it's better for Elon to stay as CEO. Maybe for them it's bullish, but for us retail investors, not so much. But anyways, I got a lot of heat for that. I don't think that could be the company announcement. I think it's probably. I know Reuters came out with a very dumb article saying that you know uh, uh, saying that the affordable models are delayed. But here's the thing, though. There was a supply chain source that I got, and I shared it with my subscribers that mentioned that Tesla did cancel a big order this year. And I don't know if this is the affordable models or not for the casting for that or not, but this was confirmed that Tesla did in fact cancel a big order from one of the supply chains. And I'm just like, huh. But they kept the big one, which is the biggest one for 2026, which is the Cybercab. So, and Reuters picked this up, of course, and they're running with it, saying that affordable models are no longer there. So it's crazy. I don't know what's going on. I really don't know. I'm honestly confused, and just I'm just looking for answers. But that's what I see happening. So I think what the big company announcement could be is that, okay, guys, we know we said the affordable models are coming. They may be delayed a little bit, but if it's new affordable models, if it's just a strip down of 3 and Y, then I don't see an issue being delayed. But if it's actually being delayed or being pushed back, they could say that, okay, we may be delaying it, and we're going, but we're doing the robot taxi thing earlier, and the cyber cab is coming months earlier, coming to 2025 or something like that. We're shifting the whole company. We're not gonna be focusing on cars anymore. We're done with cars. We're gonna be focusing on autonomy, and we're gonna be focusing on AI and that kind of stuff. I think that could be the big company announcement. I mean, I'm just speculating. So
Okay, my turn.
yeah.
You're throwing a lot. It's a lot to unpack, Pejjy. First of all, welcome, beautiful Jen, my best friend. And the the big announcement, Tesla. I'm just like serving on X and just see Homa and just double click on it. This is how I see it. Maybe I'm wrong. I think we might they might just say the same thing, which is what Elon said before. The new chapter is a new book. It's a new master plan. Is we are the company for the AI. Every Tesla is AI. It's a robot with a wheel.
Love you, Kelly. Thank you.
And we are selling energy to everyone. The mega pack,
He's a
the
troll action. Don't give him any attention.
whatever, the battery, for 48, 4860, they might be able to pump that out a lot in America, make it in America, my friend. And uh, what do I see it? I the the point that you say, if Elon gonna step down, I'm so excited. I try to keep myself calm. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't want him to step down. I want to grant his wishes, which is he want to have 25% control vote in Tesla. I think this is very important. Hello, Lincoln. I send him heart. I invite him to be speaker if he free to talk with us. I think this is me. I have a little bit of Tesla share, not so much, a little bit. I'm Tesla Elon fan. Every time I see Tesla on the road, I feel happy about it. It's like people buy my stuff. For me, Tesla is a company that I own a little bit of share. And Elon is visionary. He's the most important person on earth right now. I know if you're tracking what Elon been doing, I know he gonna start another company again and again and again, like X and XAI and busy making baby too. Who care, right? I want Elon to give his attention to Tesla. Don't step down. I know you alien. You have 80 hours in a day. You don't have 24. I know, right? So I think Wall Street can be dumb. They cannot understand full self driving. They cannot understand CERN basher, super CERN, super number CERN. Wall Street don't understand that, but it's okay. I'm buying. But they cannot skip the fact that America will be industrial again. America will make stuff again. And of course, we don't have $2 per hour to pay. We have to pay 18, 22, some place $50 an hour. And all of that problem is fixing by Tesla bot. So I'm excited for them to come out this earning call say, you guys want to count car up to you. It's like Amazon counting book who give a shit. We are gonna pump robot out like 5,000 this year. My friend, just close your eye with me for a minute and thinking about robot 5,000 this year. And next year, put another zero on it, 50,000. And another next year, 500,000. And another next year, 5 million. If Elon in this 4 year can navigate our government, because I'm not talking about like being buddy, navigate, put his super smart genius thought into how we gonna fix America to be the land of industrial AI. Dude, just this. We all here who own Tesla stock, even the one who get at 250, you guys gonna be filthy rich. That's my take. I'm bullish. Hello, I'm gonna give the mic to Jen. Hello, Jen.
Hello, my dear. Hello, friends. Happy Saturday. So I hear that we are hypothesizing about the call, the company update. It's interesting. They're calling it a company update. Okay, so this is what I think is going to happen. I think that the plans that Elon had for this year were fantastic plans, but I don't think he planned on the tariffs that are in place right now. And so we're going to have to pivot a little bit. Now, the fortunate part is Tesla's a huge war chest and we have a big runway. We're selling products. So it's not like they're going to be losing money or anything, but we are going to have a hard time getting the materials that we need to make more products from China because of the tariffs. Now, I don't think the tariffs are going to last that long, but while they are in place, it's going to affect Tesla. So I think that he had every intention on lower cost vehicles coming out this year. And I really believe that there is like a little car that's supposed to come out, kind of like Cybercab, you know, that people can purchase, maybe with the wheel and pedals. I don't know. But that may be delayed because to make a less expensive car, you know, you have to get your materials at the costs of they were, you know, when he made that plan. And the cost of goods went up significantly once we started tariffing China. I don't know what we're at now. I know it's over 125%. So, but that pissing contest isn't going to last forever. So, you know, I think that he's probably going to now, you know, address some company headwinds. But there are some really positive things. I don't know if you guys follow Joe Tegmeyer. He has some fantastic photos. And so I've mentioned one of them once, but there was a second one because I asked Joe, I said, where did the Roadster go? Because they moved it from in front of the Gigafactory. And sure enough, it's right inside the atrium. So there's a prototype Roadster that's being shown. And I saw this post the other day and it showed the Model A, I think, from Ford, or the Model T from Ford, and the Cybertruck side by side. And it said, oh, these are 100 years apart. And I was like, yeah, we'll go 2 years before and 2 years after. And I'm pretty sure you have the horse and a flying car. Like, I think Roadster is going to come out. So we'll see. And then, yeah, with the robots, they've been hinting at a Generation 3 Optimus robot, like a new body and everything. I think they're making a lot of progress because I think you're right, Fi. I think that Elon does believe heavily in the AI projects at Tesla. Tesla has connections that no other company has because they're closely linked with XAI, which is the home of Grock. And you know, Elon has tweeted a couple times this week. He mentioned AGI and reasoning in why am I blanking? Well, in AGI, basically, because it's not reasoning in robotics, it's reasoning in like intelligence or whatever, but artificial intelligence. And I've made that statement before that for Optimus to like really work, they have to solve for reasoning. And I think that it's in the forefront of his mind. So I still think we're going to do amazing things. I just don't think it's what people think it's going to be. You know, like everybody's like, oh, it's going to be a cheap car coming out. And, you know, quite honestly, it's not the best time to release a cheap car because no one's really buying cars right now. So I love that they're plussing up the energy department. We're getting 2 huge new mega pack factories. Well, one of them's already built in Shanghai and the other one in Texas is being built. And so as they ramp, that's going to be fantastic because the energy margins are amazing. And by the time all of that happens, I have a feeling people will be buying cars again. Like, I can't imagine this credit crisis going on for much, much longer. So there's that. Now, as far as like Elon leaving the company, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't see any reason for him to leave, you know, quite honestly, because he has fantastic teams. Like, the company is running fine. Like, I don't think there's any issue with the way the company is running. I think the things that we are running into, the problems, quote unquote, that we're running into are global economic problems that have nothing to do with who is running the company. Like, we could replace the CEO all we want. It is not going to change the cost of goods from China, you know? So I don't see any reason for him to leave. I don't see any motivation for him to leave. I think it's just people that are frustrated with the share price, just bitching to bitch about something. But it's not like Elon's done anything bad. I don't think he's doing anything bad. So I have a hard time with that. But that's my 2 cents.
Thank you. Hello and welcome, Lincoln. What do you think
Hi.
about the company announcement on Tuesday?
Um, First of all, I love your enthusiasm. I don't know if you can hear me. I am in the shower. I figured it's appropriate since Fa is usually in the bath with a beer and when she comes in our spaces. So I do kind of live in the shower. So you hear me okay?
Okay, I have to go open the beer now.
But I'm excited. Listen, we have people fighting hard against FSD right now. We have people like we have Grant down there. He likes to fight it. We have, they won't try it. They just want to fight it, and it's okay. Like I'm not dissing Grant. He can think what he wants. And then we have, Dan O'Dowd. He's been throwing out videos as much as he can and fighting it. Everyone's fighting it. And you know what? It's happening finally. And you know what? The arguing with them about it is over. We don't need to argue anymore. It's going to take a little while here, but it's happening. It's obvious to those of us who have been using it. And so you know what? I don't want to argue with these people anymore. I just, they can think we're wrong. We can think they're wrong. It doesn't matter. We're about to find out. About to hit the floor. So, or hit the ceiling, I don't know what that saying is, but either way, obviously they're going to talk about FSD and the Robo Taxi service coming out. It looks like it's going to come out in June in some way, and it's very exciting. And I know I'm pumped, and I would love my cars to get it. I would put it on the Robo Taxi network ASAP. So I have a few Teslas that I can use for that. So I'm excited. Yeah, I agree, Jen. Like now's not a good time to probably be selling cars, right? Like they're focusing on other things right now and they're getting stuff done, and it's okay. People can take the short, what they would see as losses, maybe sales not being as good as they want. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Long-term vision's good. Everything's gonna be fine, and I'm excited, big time.
Yeah, right on, Lincoln. 100% agree. The thing is that people are so eyeing the vehicle deliveries so much that they're missing the main thing that's going to really increase the valuation of Tesla, the full self-driving robotaxi. I mean, those who are in it for the vehicles, I mean, that's just the wrong. I mean, Tesla's not a car company. I mean, that's already been established. Yes, the financials are 80%, autos at the moment, but at the moment, that's what it is. Give it another couple of years, few more years, and we can see a big diminishing of that. Actually, we see it every quarter. Every quarter, we're seeing a diminishing of that, and we see energy coming up. I hope to see FSD revenue this quarter in Q1. I know they launched it in China, and incredible videos are coming out of China, which is just absolutely jaw-dropping. So I would love to see what the take rate is, and once the Cybercab is out, then we'll see the real wrath of what Tesla's going to become.
How do you pronounce your name?
Pejjy.
Pejjy?
Yeah.
Thanks, Pejjy. I can't blame the bears for like being skeptical, because the timeline has been so off for many years now, right? So I get their skepticism, and it's fine.
2 more weeks. Two more weeks, Lincoln.
Exactly. Let them be skeptical. It's okay. It's okay, you guys. It's all about action. That's what matters. What is going to happen, and it is going to happen. Now, it could come out in June. It could have problems. Like, that's going to happen. That's fine. Like, we don't have to have it's obvious at this point. So let's just let it speak for itself, and it's going to be exciting. I'm just pumped up. I really am. My car is so good. Don't have FSD for a week because I struck out. Yeah, you guys found me fun of me. I was irresponsible, but whatever. So, but it is horrible. I'm not as good of a driver because it does all my driving for me forever now, and I love it. So I'm like, this is horrible. I have to drive manually, but I have my wife. I gave her my Model Y, which has 1264 FSD, and so we used that last night to go to a rave, and then it has trouble, but it's still better than nothing. I still like it. So anyways, but yeah, so you know what? Let them complain. Let them try to cause problems and say, yeah, we've heard this before. Well, okay. And I'm just so glad the time of talking is almost done with all that. That's all I'm saying.
Mm.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting when the haters have to eat their words. And you're right, it's the March of Nines, Lincoln. Like it just keeps getting better. If we're constantly improving, eventually like it's solved, you know? So I have seen a tremendous improvement in FSD. I don't have it personally, but a lot of my friends do. And I'm pretty impressed. So I guess we're going to find out in June. Hi, Sat. I see you've joined us as a speaker. Welcome.
Hi.
Love
I just want to give a different perspective. I kind of a little bit disagree with the compact car section because in the US, I believe it's true because it's a market that's not that big relative to the SUV. But in Europe and Asia, I think the compact car is definitely needed. It's the most uh, coveted vehicle because it's the most useful and affordable. So I think there is a market for it. I think my interpretation of the timing is there are battery constraints or whatnot. You know, Tesla could make a 500-mile electric vehicle, but it costs too much and it takes 2 cars or 3 cars worth of batteries. So in terms of serving the market, the current market that they can serve, I think they need to limit how much batteries they can make per vehicle. And then the interest rate, the macroeconomics has to do a lot with it. So in
Is
that
that
timing, what?
are you
Go ahead.
talking about like third party batteries too? They can't get a supply there if they wanted, or
Yeah, well, I mean, I think a lot of it's vertically integrated too, and then now you have the tariffs and all this other stuff. So it's not necessarily that there isn't a market for compact cars. It's that there's other macroeconomics. And people in the U.S. have 6-7% interest rates, right? So people are gonna wait if they can wait. But my point is that there is a market for a compact car, and it's much bigger than the Model 3 and the Y. It's much bigger because people can't afford the Model Y, and the Model Y is not practical in certain roads in a lot of parts of Europe and Asia. It's not built for a car that big. So there's a lot of small cars, and it's the biggest market. So the compact car, in my opinion, I don't care when it's going to come out. It needs to come out at some point because it needs to address it because the gas OEMs they're not doing better. They're doing worse every year. So someone's gonna have to replace it, whether it's BYD or Tesla. Someone's gonna replace it. And I think it's gonna be other OEMs that's gonna get to the compact car eventually.
Well, I just want to say I agree with you that they do need to make a compact car. I just don't think it's economical currently with the global like economic meltdown that's going on. I just think that because the cost of goods is so high coming from China, that's why it's going to be delayed. In the American market, it's definitely not going to be BYD. And you know, we all have to remember that the OEMs currently, like Ford, GM, Stellantis, all of them, they're losing money on all of their electric vehicles. Like Tesla is one of the few companies that can make an all electric vehicle and make it profitable, you know? And so they can do that with the current models. I think that stripped down versions of them that are less expensive or a less expensive compact car are just really difficult because of the economic conditions right now. I think once that they lift, then it makes a lot of sense. Go for it, Lincoln.
oh, cool, thanks. So hey, Stat, I don't know. I'm more of the like I'm a user and Tesla person. That's where I'm a Tesla user. I know about that. I don't know about all the numbers and everything, as you know. But when you talk about I know what you mean about like Europe and other parts of the world. They all have these tiny little cars, right? And it'd be great to have a ton of tiny little Teslas going around and charging and people using them. But what isn't the profit margin pretty low with those?
Yeah, typically they're low, but even in gas cars where Model 3 and Y, they're not that high, right? Tesla has the highest gross margin in terms of mass production vehicles.
Right.
They're like on par with Porsche, right? And Porsche is the low mid-range volume exotic vehicle, like brand. So Tesla's making way more than that 18-19%. I think it was somewhere around there last time I checked. So it's really high. Typically those cars and sedans, Toyota squeaks out a percent or two more at 5 or 6%, right? So it is low, but they go by quantity, right? That's how they make up for it. The total amount of dollars adds up when you have that. But it's a bigger market, and at some point when the economics comes in play and they have the right timing of certain things that's happening from the macroeconomics, then they can address it because it can also be more expensive because like it could be 22, it could be 25, 30,000 and compete with the 22,000, 20,000 because over time it gets cheaper. the more you use a gas car, the more expensive it gets. And I had a lot of maintenance with cars that were like 10 years old because spark plug goes out or the braking pads go out and something goes wrong more and more as the years go on. Whereas my Model 3 is still a 7th year, and my biggest concern is the tire rotation. So at a certain point, it doesn't have to be on par the same exact price, but it's going to get there. And I don't know if it's going to be in 6 months. I don't know if it's going to be a year from now, but Tesla's going to do it right. They're going to have a gross margin positive on it, and they'll be able to address that market because the physical part of the car being smaller is needed at some point. So I think when they deem it to be the right timing, they'll come out with the right car and with the FSD. So, and when you have the FSD added on, and even if you only get 10% of that market, that's a way bigger market in terms of how many cars that's out there for the market for compact cars.
Thank you, Seth. Seth, that's not how I say your name, Seth. I take the point of the big market of the smaller car, and this is my excitement. Do you think, all of you guys, do you think Giga India will happen? I saw the post from, I don't know what they call the president or the prime minister, Modi, say they're excited to work with Tesla to bring the technology to their country. I saw it a little bit. What do you think? Are we gonna make Giga India and pump out Mega Pack and the cheaper model to make the sale in the market over there? What do you guys think? Am I dreaming?
I'll go first, I guess. No, I think 100% they will do some sort of a factory in India because, well, they have a very cheap labor force and it's 1.4 billion people there. And you never know, the Indian government, I mean, I don't want to say they're unreliable, but they can quickly change the tariffs policy and increase the tariffs again. Because right now I think they reduced the tariffs because of Trump. So I think it's smart for Tesla to go there and make a gigafactory there, and a Megapack factory there eventually. When? Not too sure. I know they just expand. I know they're expanding there in India. They just opened up a shop in Saudi Arabia, and just today, because I'm in Kuwait, right? There was a buzz going around in the media today, in Kuwait media today, that Tesla may be coming to Kuwait, and I'm just like, what? Because they added Kuwait as a job location here, which is the first time ever. So they're probably looking for areas to where they can put the superchargers. I don't know, but that's the first for me, which is a big sign that they're actually looking to come here. I think they want to cover all the Gulf countries because it's a rich market. It's a small market, but it's a rich market. And the crazy part is that BYD is here, and they have their seal and whatever it is, and they're advertising aggressively. But I've yet to see one on the road, and I see more Teslas on the road than a BYD seal, or a BYD EV, which is crazy. But no, going back to India, I think eventually they will have to just to be safe, I guess, and not to and to be stable, and not to be involved or not to be caught in the middle with all this, tariffs hikes and tariff down, because we all know that the Indian government is corrupt. We know this. So it's better for them to actually build a factory in India, keep it, their classic vertical integration there, and pump out the affordable models or whatever models they have that's affordable in that market. Maybe the Cybercab one day, because this FSD that was going on in China, I thought when I saw what's happening in China, I'm like, for sure one day it's going to be solved in India. So that's my take on it.
Who want to go next?
I'm heading off to a play with my kiddos, and I gotta go. But I want to say you guys are awesome. I love your enthusiasm, and I will try to catch you guys next time.
Thank you, Lincoln.
And
Love you.
let's-
Lincoln,
Be an exciting
Lincoln, tell
week.
your wife I said hi.
Will do, Jen. Thank you.
All right, have
Bye,
fun.
Pejjy. Bye,
Bye.
Seth. Bye, everyone.
Okay, so I guess I'll go next. I think India is going to be fantastic. I agree with Pejjy though. Like, they're going to have to manufacture in India at some point, and I think it's just going to be a numbers game. I've been pretty negative on India because the average earners is very low, and then even the average car price is very low. So I'm like, I don't know if there's really a market for Tesla cars. But then I talked to some of my friends that are of Indian descent or from India, and they were like, girl, there's a bunch of rich Indians. And there are, I mean, they have 1 billion people, right? Like the United States has 1/3 of the population that India does. And so even if, and I don't know what the percentage of wealthy people is in India, but even if it's a small percentage, just by the numbers, there's going to be a fair market. That being said, I think that people will be importing Teslas while tariffs are low. It's going to be very interesting to see if President Trump really negotiates some great tariff deals with India, and maybe they lower the tariffs on imported cars, because currently, well, I'm not sure what it is currently, because God knows it changes daily. But before the tariff wars of 2025, it was 110% was the tariff on imported vehicles. So, however, people that can afford a Tesla in India are probably very, very wealthy and don't care. It's a status symbol in a lot of countries. I think that's why we sell so well in China, to tell you the truth, because there are a ton of EV companies in China, and they make less expensive EVs that are very compelling. But you know what? People still buy Teslas because Teslas are better. They're also a status symbol. There's reasons why people buy an Hermès Birkin bag, and has a lot to do with brand and consistency and stuff like that. And then also you want to think like, well, what if I need something for this car later? Like, I would not buy a Fisker or a couple of other brands, because is that company even going to be around in a couple of years? And we don't know how their batteries perform over time and everything, which we do with Tesla. Like, the quality is so high with Tesla, I think they'll do well. As far as a mega pack factory in India, I'd love to see it, because I feel like India is still industrializing. They're still growing, and there are huge demands for power. With over 1 billion people, that's over 1 billion people that will need electricity at some point, and they're growing. So personally, I would like to see a mega pack factory before a car factory. But it would be interesting, like, what happens if they do put a mega pack factory in India? Then they're manufacturing in India. Does that count for other Tesla products? And so that's my question, because I know the tariffs are negated if you are building in India, if you have a factory in India. So I wonder if we could do a mega pack factory and then enjoy the perks of partnering with India by not having any tariffs on the cars that we import, because technically Tesla has a factory there. So that's my question for someone who knows Indian politics and tariffs a little better. So if anybody knows, please come up and tell me. But yeah, so that's my thoughts on that. Seth, do you have an opinion?
Well, it makes sense that Tesla has to make a factory somewhere, and in order to reach more, to be able to produce more vehicles and address the bigger markets. So India would be a great place to have great engineers. I mean, we have a bunch of engineers from India that's working in the U.S. And they have more over, obviously, in population of 1 billion. So it makes sense that they would have negotiations and discussions on it. So I look forward to another factory. If it's India, it'll be great too. So I'm pretty sure they'll address the problems that's well known. If it wasn't addressed, and obviously the one that I'm working with. So when they can establish another factory wherever it's going to be, that's going to be a next step for Tesla to level up as well. But the Tesla Energy, what you pointed out, is fastest growing part of the business right now.
That's a very good point. And, it's kind of funny because I feel like India's greatest export right now is engineers and doctors. So it's nice to go to the source. Oh, Tesla bobblehead. Hello, my dear. Oh, sorry, bubblehead. I said that wrong. How are you?
Good. You know, you brought up a good point, and I thought about this last year when we were talking about India. And a lot of my coworkers are in India, and I asked them, I said, you know, what do you think about a Tesla factory there? And they were like, well, don't really understand. It doesn't make sense. We don't buy cars. Mostly we take trains. But we do make parts, and we are engineers because, all my coworkers are engineers. And then the crazy thought came across my mind, and I thought, what if what Elon needs out of India is the manufacturing of their energy department, parts, and Optimus? Then I went down a rabbit hole. What do you think about Optimus and just, it now being a sourcing for parts country?
That's an interesting thought. I kind of like that. I wonder if we were manufacturing Optimus in India at a lower cost, of course, because if we don't have Optimi to make more Optimuses, then we would need people to do it. So we still need inexpensive labor. I don't love that we lean on China for inexpensive labor. So maybe we need to find inexpensive labor elsewhere in other developing markets. And that would most assuredly be India would be the best place to do it, because you're right, they do have the engineers. I mean, if you think about all the developing nations that we would have to choose from for less expensive labor than American labor, India has the highest talent pool out of all of them. So I like that a lot. And then we could export the Optimus robots that are made inexpensively in India to the United States, to start making, building the machine that builds the machine. Elon had always said that it's really the factories that are the product. And I think we're getting to that part once we have the Optimus robot. Because when you take the Optimus robot plus Tesla Megapack and solar, all of a sudden, all of the negatives of manufacturing in the United States, which would be the high cost of labor, and having to have like the appropriate talent pool for it or whatever, and the people willing to do it, and then just the cost of like all of the energy to also do that, all of that is fixed by that combination of Optimus, Tesla Megapack, and solar. So I think it's coming. I mean, I know who were we talking to last week? Robert Scoble, and I asked him, when do you think that's going to happen? He's like, well, maybe in 10 years. Well, great. I have 10 years. I mean, I'm sure y'all have 10 years. Can you imagine if in 10 years, the answer to American manufacturing is the Optimus robot and the Tesla Megapack? That's amazing. Like the total,
Dude, 10 years too long. 10 years too long. 5.
Well, I think 10 years the bear case. Well, to really solve for manufacturing entirely in the United States. I'm not talking about just at the Tesla factories. Optimus is already working at the Fremont factory. I'm talking, when do Optimus robots take over the Ford factory, or Pfizer factory, stuff like that. When can we repatriate all of our manufacturing to the United States? And it's when we no longer have to rely on human labor, when we can rely on Optimus labor, then we, all the advantages that China had are gone.
One of the biggest areas that India fulfills is the help desk. 3 companies I've worked for have all outsourced their help desk, but the way Grock, I've got version 3 now, and my mind is blown. And we had an issue with our German Shepherd last week that we adopted a month ago. And when we first adopted it, I asked Grock, some questions. What's it like to own a German Shepherd? And very personable, and gave us great information. Fast forward to this past week, and she had a bad stool, and so I took a picture of it and I uploaded it to Grock, and I said, can you tell me what this is? And Grock said, well, it looks like, and I won't go into the details, but it belongs to probably to your German Shepherd that you said you adopted, that's now 1 year and 1 week old. And my mind was blown. And so I asked my wife, I said, get your Grock out and ask it a question about Bailey. And so she got it out and she said, oh, Bailey's not drinking. What could be the problem? And Grock came back, said, oh, yes, your 1-year-old German Shepherd's still a pup and she can get anxious. And it remembered the entire conversation from, previous weeks on 2 accounts. So help desk being solved by Grock, I think must be a year away. Just, I don't know if it's the product they're going to sell. I would imagine it is. So what will, sorry, this is my autism. What will the folks who get displaced in India from help desk, what can they turn to? And building these mega factories over there might be, extremely helpful for that situation.
That's crazy. Oh man.
Yeah, I like that idea. Oh, I saw some of my friends come into the room, so I just want to say hi. I just want to take co-host privilege and say hello. I saw Landon was in here and Vivek, so hi guys. Fa, what were you gonna say?
Hello, all everyone friend. Jen friend is my friend too. Hello, dude. Grock gonna be in a car, and the car gonna be very smart. And I don't know. I'm so excited about just sit there and don't have to look at the road. Even like the naysayers say, "Oh, it's not gonna happen." I I have AI 3 and I paid 10 grand for it. And I use it for like 2022, 2020, 2022, and now 2024. 6 years. It's get a lot smarter. And I'm not even have the AI 4. I'm not even have a V13 that they have in a Cybertruck that Homa posts a video. Nothing. You don't even have to touch anything. You just have to sit there. I don't have that version. But my version is, I don't know, I just get an update last week. It's good. It's just catching me looking at my phone. That's it. If I be nice and just look at the road, it's good. I go everywhere. So Elon said one time in one of the earning call. Sorry for my excitement. I'm pumped. This week I'm so pumped. Tesla say the car will go unsupervised. And I'm like, dude. And what car on the market that you can buy that you can just sit there and get shit done? You know what I mean? It is like just buy a car and sit there and pull
Just
out
show me.
your little tray and you can put your laptop and do whatever. I'm so excited. It's almost like a magic.
It
So
drove me to the store while I was talking to you guys.
Yeah, I could tell you a story. So every 2 weeks we drive up to Atlanta, take care of my mom and uncle. Have a Cybertruck, and so we got. I was talking to Chuck about this last week. We got 2 micro updates, and I think they were just tweaks. And so I was interested. I wonder how this will pan out. So we took off to Atlanta from Jacksonville, Florida. No interventions. Okay. Except for things like, oh, suddenly I just want to pull over at a rest area, but nothing that that was an error. We get into Atlanta. You're getting into Atlanta because the traffic is horrendous. I mean, if you haven't driven it, I couldn't even explain it. And I realized about an hour into traffic, I wasn't stressed. And the reason is the wife and I were just singing K-pop songs and barely paying attention to the road. And, I'm kind of cheating. I've got my cell phone up on the little magnet on the top of the screen, so you don't get yelled at. Okay, so we get to the hotel. Now this is a pattern we've been doing every other 2 weeks since December. Next morning, I get up, I get down in the truck, and I don't tell it where I'm going. and the first thing it offers is work. And I'm like, okay, I wonder if that was just coincidental. So I go to work, I get off around 2, get back in the truck, and it offers to go back to the hotel that we were staying at. And I'm like, okay, there's something going on here. So we get to the hotel. My wife and the dog come down, and the first thing the truck offers is the hospital my uncle's staying at. And I'm like, really? So that's where we were going. So we go there. I do a little
Crazy.
sidebar and I go, we get something to eat, but we get back in it and it still wants to go there. We visit him. We finish there, get in the truck, and it offers to take us to where my mom lives. So I'm like, okay, now the car's remembering everything. We're done with my mom. The car remembers that we love to go to this China buffet place, and it offers that as our first choice. And then when we were done there, it offers the hotel. And the next day, it repeated the same thing. And it did it all week long. It was as if it was reading my mind. And now, as Fa said, if they integrate Grock into the Cybertruck, yeah, and nobody's close to this. I mean, we are so far ahead of the game of everyone else. I just can't understand why the investors behave the way they do. It's just mind blowing.
Because the market is bipolar. Welcome, beware. And now we're talking about the smart car and Grock in the car and Tesla go to India and Sat here, which is I'm a fan of him. Thank you for joining speaker panel.
Thanks for having
Telling
me up here.
us, telling us that we have to sell, not we have to sell. Tesla will kill the cheaper car market. If
Yeah, no,
Tesla come out with sub 30K, the rest of the world will ditch every car they own for Tesla.
yeah.
Do you
There's a
agree? What do you think?
so I think it's challenging. There's a lot of bureaucratic. Like I think in our last time we talked about this, one of the things I see in India, and it's coming from a pure manufacturing standpoint too, because they don't refine. They have a vast amount of resources, like materials to refine, but they export the unrefined materials and they import most of their defense sector imports like titanium like from China as well as Russia as well as like from other parts of the world. So they're not refining their own critical minerals. And so that tells me that there's a refinery issue. So what they need to kind of like if they need to be stood up as as a hedge against China, that needs to be like top priority is like refining raw materials. And that's something that I've actually been kind of zooming in and like studying, like just for my own like sort of thing. But like uh from a battery perspective though, like I mean obviously lithium's everywhere, right? But like there's so many other components, and China right now just dominates everything. So for the time being, and I was in a space yesterday night and I happened to be co-hosting, and Romar came in and I was asking him exactly about this topic, and I think Sat was in the room too, right? And so like we were just talking about like um how realistic a timeline it would be for India to like stand up like a mega pack factory or something like that. And he he gave me some good reasons why he thinks it would take a little bit longer than we think. I mean, it's great and exciting to see like cars on like roads like in India, but at the same time though, like from an infrastructure and bureaucratic sort of perspective, there's a lot of red tape that needs to be cleaned up. And I think Elon will be able to, if there's anybody that's going to be able to do it, especially since he's in Modi's ear, he's going to be able to help like clean up some of it. But it's like if you think the like corruption and bureaucracy here is
Facts.
bad, like you've never been to India before. Like I remember, so I'll give you kind of like a parallel sort of I'll give you a parallel sort of story as to like um, how bureaucratic things are. I remember when I was a kid, going to the post office with my grandmother, and she had to go to like she had to go to like she had to go to like 18 different stations in the post office, like just to mail a letter. Like, and I was like maybe like 11 years old, and she took me there, and I was maybe 11 years old when she took me there, and it just really like I mean at the as a kid, I mean I was kind of like I was old enough to kind of like, that's weird, like shouldn't you just be able to mail the letter? They had like, you know, like maybe like 10 or 11, I'm maybe exaggerating, but they had like 10 or 11 people that had to stamp something, you know, before you mailed the letter. And I was just, to me, like as a kid I was like, that doesn't seem really efficient, you know, because as a kid as a kid you can kind of like see through stuff, but like even as an adult I was like, man, that's so inefficient.
Man,
But the
it's the
thing
same
is,
thing here in
yeah,
Kuwait. It's the same thing.
is it really? Okay, I
Dude, it's
wasn't sure.
crazy.
So like, so I think, you know, in like in a country like India where you have such a high pop density, you need to have a justification for people to be employed too. So they create jobs for like create like useless jobs. Like I remember I remember when I was visiting when I was a young adult, and they like my parents were trying to set up like a bank account there or something like that, and someone needed to like copy the documents. They had a guy that goes to the copy store to make the copies of the documents. Like that's it was just like that's the type of inefficiency you're talking about, right?
What
So
the fuck?
yeah. So I'm just saying, guys, you guys complain about all the inefficiencies here. I'm saying we got it. We got it so good here, like in comparison to a lot of places in the world. And I'm not saying it's perfect, right? Like no place is, but like we should be really grateful for what we have. I think there's a lot of, like, and I'm not trying to go down that road, but I'm just saying, I think a lot of us can. It's easy for us to sit there, like, oh, well, this sucks, you know. But like it could. I think coming from a place of gratitude definitely could humble us a bit. But like, I guess kind of going back to the topic though, those kinds of things are what you're kind of dealing with, like on multiple levels of that country, right? And also there's like cultural sort of like dynamics as well as like corruption in the political system too, right? So those are things that Elon is going to have to contend with. And then obviously, like with the Make in India policy that Modi has in his administration, it's very, very much like, okay, well, who are you going to partner with in India? And so, long term, I think India, like it's going to be a long like build, kind of like how Tim Cook went into China. It didn't happen overnight. But I definitely see a parallel to what India could be for Tesla to what China became for Apple. Because like they really like drove down the cost of like aluminum, drove down the cost of like manufacturing titanium. Like that titanium refinery that's been set up in China is because of Apple, and the aluminum refinery is because of Apple. Like really optimizing the supply chain. Anyways, sorry, I've been rambling.
No, it was great to hear from you, Vivek. And then you made me think of a story that I heard from one of my friends who is from India, and his family immigrated here. And I don't want to say who it is, but you guys might know him. But anyways, he told me this story about his dad was in manufacturing. His dad had a plant in India, and I think he and his brother would work there sometimes. And the culture in India, it can be quite interesting. Something happened. His dad owed someone money, and a guy came in and stabbed one of the workers to death. And like, that's just something that happens in India. Now, we don't really
I mean,
contend with
stabbing
that in
people,
the
I mean,
United
that
States.
happens everywhere. I don't know if that's a cultural thing, but like, I mean, there's definitely some like honor stuff and like,
Cultural thing.
but I mean, it's very, 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 very isolated. I don't know if I would like broadly attribute it to India, because I mean, you're talking like 1.5 billion people.
No, that's a very good point. And well, good. Well, I'm glad I got your perspective, because he told me that story and I was like, well, that's insane. And then he was like, yeah. And then my dad put my brother
Yes.
and I in boarding
Yes.
school because of it.
He
And I was
has
like,
to,
oh, wow.
otherwise
So
Canada's doomed.
I just wanted to make that note that sometimes, It's going to be interesting when you deal with different cultures. They do things differently that you're not going to anticipate, I guess is my best point for that. Hi, Henry. I see that you're a speaker now. Go ahead. I see your hand up.
Hi, Jen. Hi, Bob. Pejjy. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Yeah, you guys got me excited when the topic of India came up. I totally agree with you, Jen, that there's some intricacies involved with dealing with India. And Vivek also really made a good point about the potential. And I have had experience in my previous life working with Tata Communications. I was in telecom uh, bef- before, I don't know, many years ago, but I've experienced business with them, and they're very quick pro quo. In addition to the red tape, uh, and I don't think that necessarily Elon is fond of bureaucracy, red tape, or quid pro quo. He's very pure in the sense of this is what I can offer, this is what I'm very good at, and I hope we see value in a partnership together. But he's also, I think, very much so in recent months and years, uh, grown, especially being involved with politics. I think he has opened his eyes to mm, other ways of mm, working with people. And India is kind of, like I said, quid pro quo, but they have policies in place. And Jen, you mentioned that if you felt that there's a chance where if Tesla invests and builds a manufacturing facility in India, that that would benefit them. I totally agree. I'm in the business of moving containers worldwide, and have experience in customs compliance. And what I know is that they have policies in place. So if you build a manufacturing facilities, it's it's all in the hands of the government, and the government is very, I would say, a tight knit circle, much more so than the U.S. So if Modi wants something to happen, um, there's a greater chance of that happening than if Trump wanted something to happen. That's kind of outside the regular scope of things where different branches of government need to be involved. And I know that um, uh, Tata Motors has a wide range of tier two and tier three suppliers. So I think I've heard in a different space, and when I heard you guys speak about India, it kind of resonated with me and kind of allowed me to remember that if Tesla were to partner up with someone like Tata Motors, it would not necessarily be competing with them, because I think that would be the first natural instinct for people to say, why would Tata Motors partner with Tesla? And it's not. I think Vivek mentioned that, if I'm not mistaken, about parts. No one, I think, no one can argue that there's a, intellectually, Indians are very smart, and they can see things that I think um, people may have difficulty in other parts of the world. So in that sense, when they see what are the benefits for them partnering with Tesla, it would be more of Tesla has the manufacturing prowess, the know-how. What that equates to, volume. So if the volume is high and consistent, the network of tier two and tier three suppliers would mm, be utilized in a way that I think Tata Motors can benefit from, whether that be a percentage or commission, not necessarily building the same type of vehicles that Tesla would be interested in selling in India. And I just like to wrap my uh, uh, what I wanted to say is that from from a supply chain perspective, when I say India has the kind of right policies in place, whether they're using it or not is a, 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 a point for another conversation. But when Vivek mentioned about raw materials and they don't have the capability of refining those raw materials. I'm not an expert in that, and one part I do love about Spaces and X is learning from other people who have more expertise in batteries and fundamentals of companies. But assuming that that's right, from a customs logistics supply chain perspective, India has this thing called SEZs, and you can import raw materials, and better yet, refined materials, duty free. That's, I think, at the base layer in the first 3 to 5 years of production. After that, when they ramp things up from let's say the third to the fifth year, I think Tesla could benefit from manufacturing in India, in addition to low cost human resources, but also their supply chain policies where they have this thing called like MOWR, which is kind of like the equivalent of FTZs in the US. And what that does is that if you manufacture, let's say, 100 vehicles and you get to sell, let's say, 80 of them in India, but then you have a surplus of 20, you don't have to pay duties or taxes on those remaining 20 if they're exported out. So the tax benefits, the duty benefits for that you can benefit in India is kind of similar to the U.S., which is a big plus. Yeah, that's I think what I have for now, and then love to hear more from other people too. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thanks, Henry. It was nice to hear from you. Vivek, I see your hands up. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I really appreciated Henry's perspective, having worked, with Tata directly. That's pretty cool. They're obviously, a large player in the manufacturing sector there. They have Tata Steel, which I mean is heavily involved in uh, just like all sorts of manufacturing, even refining too. I know that a lot of the refining they are addressing refining, like a lot of it is government sponsored, like mining operations. But they're using, or at least on the titanium side, and I've done my research on this. Uh, the Kroll process, which is the very antiquated chemical process and it's very energy intensive. Um, there's other avenues to kind of like more efficiently do that. That's been investigated here in the stateside. But like, uh, I liked what you said about, and you obviously done a lot of your homework about um, the trade uh, agreements that they have for like shipping and raw materials, like tax free, duty free. Only concern though, I think is espionage, right? Like, because some of those materials come from China, right? So they obviously will be spying on the entire supply chain to kind of figure out what's going on. I mean, obviously, this is public that Tesla's looking to get into India, right? Like, it's not like a secret thing. That being said, though, um, uh, from like a refining perspective, they probably would want to know like what's going on, especially if Tesla wants to like utilize like um, more efficient refining processes. if they ever get to that point. If they get to that point, because I mean, I say that because there's a lithium refinery in Austin, right? So if they ever got to a point where they were going to build a refinery that was vertically integrated to one of the factories that they ended up building, it's a bit of a concern for me because, you know, and I understand in the short term, you'd still kind of rely on that supply chain and just kind of, you know, just to kind of get things moving. But um, long term, though, you definitely want to have more circularity. And the thing is, the thing that people don't realize is the amount of scrap in metal manufacturing that can be recycled, like, and brought back into the ecosystem. And, you know, metals are one of the most like recyclable materials on the planet. And the supply chain for that is still like very, very like nascent. And so there's a couple companies that I've been paying attention to. I'm not going to name drop them any like here right now because like I don't want to take too much away from this room. But like that's what's at play too. But then in addition, you know, you got guys like Arvind Srinivas who started like Perplexity AI, right? He wouldn't have been able to start that company in India because it's not very friendly for, you know, small startups and private companies. And I feel like someone like Elon, who has a direct like ear to like direct like line to Modi's ear, but also, you know, Modi's like really close with Trump. Trump has even called him out as like one of his best pals, right? And so Trump has an immense amount of respect for him. And so I feel like there's going to be a rippling effect if and when this like converges and they execute on this. The rippling effect is going to be, you know, you see all the startups and the people that have worked at SpaceX or at Tesla that have started their own things, right? That's what's going to happen there, in my opinion, because it's more of a free economy than China is. You don't, even though you do have the government kind of like having its like in trenches and everything, and like you said, there's definitely a lot of quid pro quo. At the end of the day, it's still technically a free market. And I feel like that is going to he's going to inspire Modi to like deregulate a lot of things, in my opinion. So I think that's kind of where I'm going to land my plane. I feel like he will, but like I said, it's not going to happen overnight because, you know, when you have a system that's been operating for as long as it has there, obviously, as you guys know, those systemic things take time to change. I mean, we're kind of going through something similar in our country, right? Like we're kind of changing some things in our country, and they take time. Like it's not something that happens overnight. And so but either way, I'm still optimistic. I'm excited that India is kind of being in the conversation, like because they should be. Like they could be a very key ally and a key asset to the world. And honestly, it would also address a lot of brain drain too. You know, like we talk about, like, you know, the brain drain and immigration and everything. They'd be able to keep their top talent to a certain extent, you know, and it would actually force us to actually hustle more too, to a certain extent, because we'd have to compete. So
Yeah, definitely.
uh,
I think this is kind of selfish, but I'd really love to see. I mean, for those who want Tesla to build a car manufacturing facility in India first, I understand that. But Vivek, to your point about what India has in mind for their own future, I'm sure with the talent that they have, they want to build some sort of um, future prowess in AI. And in order to do that, you would need energy for any co-location that they have. Or and I know that their energy infrastructure is third world. At, I mean, maybe in the proper cities, uh, uh, it's much improved since I've last uh,
no,
talked
you're
to
spot
anybody
on.
about it.
You're
Yeah.
spot on that
So
take. No, seriously, yeah.
then
My
those
brother goes
roads.
there. Like my brother goes there like very often because he has a business.
Mm,
So I'm like eating something, so apologies if I sound like rude right now.
no,
Um,
no, no.
but like he goes there like almost like every other month because he has a business that he runs over there. But like, I mean, they still have grid issues. I mean, even South Africa has grid issues. But you definitely hit the nail on the head there, in my opinion. Like grid storage is definitely like the key. Like I think Megapack, Like
Yeah.
there's a market there. I don't know if they'll build a mega pack factory, but I think they'll deploy a lot of mega packs there in the immediate like future. Because getting a mega pack factory there, I think is going to be really complex sort of thing to kind of like build out, right? Because as you said, it's quid pro quo there, right? Everyone's going to have their hand out wanting to get a piece of the action, right? So, so he's going to have to navigate all that.
Definitely.
You know, but
Right.
I'm really excited for India though because of Modi. I don't know if you guys listened to Lex Friedman's interview with Modi, but I listened to most of it, and he sounds like he really has India's best interest at heart, which is nice to see from a leader. He doesn't strike me as the kind of person that's in it for like what he can get. He really is a public servant, and keeping that in mind, I think that he is going to promote India moving up in the ranks in the world. There's no reason for India to be a third world country anymore. Other countries have industrialized, and so can India. So I could see Modi being very positive about Tesla moving into India. And, he's already talking to Elon about it. That's another reason why Elon shouldn't leave Tesla. Like, I don't, when people are like, oh, Elon's damaging the brand and this, that, and the other, I don't think so, guys. I mean, because even if he wasn't at the helm, Tesla's still an electric car company. It's still an AI company. People who want to fight the future will fight it regardless, no matter who's at the helm of the company. But the beauty of Elon being in charge of the company is we have an engineer that's running the company who truly understands manufacturing. He's not just some bean counter, that landed a cool CEO job. And, it's his baby. Like, he grew it. When he bought the company, they didn't have a product. They had an idea, and a name. It's a cool name, though, in all fairness. So I don't know. I think India is going to be great. But yeah, you guys nailed it on the head with power. Like, we need energy. Everywhere does. The total addressable market. I usually say TAM, and then people are like, what is TAM? TAM is total addressable market, if you guys don't know. But the market for long duration energy storage is slamming because it's less expensive than a peaker plant. Like, if you look at the price for a battery and a solar farm combo, even or just the battery farms, when you hook them up to a power plant, they're so much less expensive than a peaker plant. Like, it makes all the sense in the world. And it seems that manufacturing Megapack is a little less complex than the cars, because it's one product. It's not like they're trying to pump out a bunch of different iterations of the product, and it's pretty simple. It's just a battery pack. And so it makes a lot of sense to me, the more that we're talking about it, that we would have a mega pack factory in India eventually. But maybe we start with refining there. That makes a lot of sense too. Vivek, to your point where you said like India is having a trouble manufacturing, refining their minerals and stuff. Well, maybe that's our role in India, but I could definitely see Elon finding a way into that market because it's going to be enormous. And he thinks in decades,
I
not
never thought
in,
of that angle.
in years.
That's a brilliant angle, Jennifer. Like, really, I didn't even think about that. Just solely just refining. That's brilliant. Like, because that's something he's been screaming at the rooftops about, is like refining of stuff, even going back to like 5-6 years ago, right? So, I really love what you said there. I didn't even think of that. So, like, awesome.
Well, thank you. I hope that someone from Tesla is listening, because I would love for like the good ideas that come out of these spaces to like get up the ranks, because I think like Henry made an excellent point, or it may have been Vivek. I think both of you said it, that there are so many experts that come into these rooms because each of us has a talent that we bring to these conversations. We have a different perspective and a different background and stuff. And, so I think a lot of good things come out of these conversations. And I just wanted to say hi to Jessica Kirsch. She's in the audience. So hi, Jess. I can't wait to see you down at SpaceX soon, hopefully. So, but yeah, that's my 2 cents on India. The future's bright. Hopefully it'll get a lot brighter once we light it up with megapacks.
Oh yeah.
Beautifully say all of you. The one point I want to add is the naysayer gonna say whatever they want to say. The robot is coming no matter what they like it or not. And yes, I'm excited for India. Make a pack of it. Pop, 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 pop. And you guys, 240 this week. I'm buy nothing. I'm eat at home. I'm buy nothing. I only buy beer. And then the rest is I'm buy Tesla, of course. Of course, like 240. Can you believe this? If 4 years ago, people tell me that 2025, we have a CEO have an ear of Donald Trump, and Donald Trump is the most powerful man. And Modi even said we would like the Tesla technology in our country. Who would think that the stock at 240? It is ridiculous. It is bipolar, but take it to our advantage. Just keep buying. I am doing quietly a little bit to and here and there. Europe. Europe is waiting to get FSD to pass the red tape. Imagine, just imagine, just close your eye and imagine with me. If it's work over there, we have America, North America, we have China, we're gonna have, I don't know, the homework for the AI team in India, and maybe we have Europe. That's a lot of place in the world. And the next day you're gonna be like, oh, Elon is go mega, they crazy. But they're still gonna love the Tesla. I have something funny to tell you. I'm in Seattle right now, the land of the liberal, and the one of the neighbor of my friend just like, hey, we have a free toy. Whoever come get it for free. So we make a walk. It's the electric car. They give it to us, and the guy have Model 3 with a SpaceX like sticker on it. And I'm like, oh, this guy is gonna be Elon fan. And I look closer. He had the sticker "fuck Elon" on the car. And I'm like, oh, this is juicy. But I'm saying nothing, I'm just like pretend that I don't understand what happened. He's nice enough to put a car toy in his car and deliver it for free. And I just stand there and I'm just like, oh, you have Model 3 performance. Do you like the car? And he's like loving it. He's just loving it. It's just like, this is the best car I ever owned. The car very smart. I drive it everywhere. This is where I buy the fiber, something in the back. No, my car is just a normal Model 3, but I get this thing off the market to make it look like it's a fancy model. And he tell me all the tip and trick about the car. And then I'm just like, so what is this sticker? Fuck Elon, right? And he just like, yeah, we bought this car before he go crazy. And I'm like, oh, he go crazy. Oh, what is he crazy about? And it's like, oh, he don't know the government and he go work for the government and he cut people off. He lay off people, bad people. He's have no considerate. And I'm like, oh, all right. And he's like, but we love the car. My wife Subaru is very old right now. It's 10 years old. We're gonna get her the new Model 3. It's very sexy. So this is what happened in Seattle land. They hate Elon, but they're gonna buy another Tesla. You know?
I'm glad for your safety that you played that the right way, because I was getting a little concerned on the where the story was going, but you played that really well, and yeah, I'm glad you're okay.
No,
My husband tell me to shut up. He's like, don't be the Elon fan in the blue state. Please don't. We have you and I'm 1 year old. Please don't. And I'm like, okay.
no, what's crazy is that remember all the backlash we got when Elon bought X, and now all that brand damage, and no one's gonna buy a Tesla anymore because he's getting into politics and blah blah blah. What happened now? No no one even brings that up anymore. And the same will happen in a year or two once he's done with the Doge thing. I think he's done when? I think July 4th. Is that the last day when Elon is done with Doge? Can someone correct me?
It's coming up for sure.
Yeah.
Right around the America birthday. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, somewhere around then. So, I mean, as we saw in Q1 delivery report, I mean, the stock went down, and then once there was some rumors going around that Trump's telling their inner circles that Elon's leaving, the stock went up because of that. So, I could only imagine how crazy June and July it's going to be, not just for the stock, but for the company itself. It's going to be such an amazing second half of this year. And man, I'm just excited. I'm pumped for it. It's going to be absolutely shishi. I mean, I can't wait for the earnings call, which is in 3 days' time. I wonder what kind of company update they have coming up. I know we're all speculating here, but it's going to be such a sheesh moment. I don't know. I think we're all here very, very excited.
Yeah, you had some aggressive projections like the last time we were on last time I was on a call with you. You were pretty bullish like for like June, July. You still feel that way?
Yeah, I still feel that way because, well, there's rumors now going around with this affordable models not being, coming out with. I don't even know what's going on with that, and there's no comments coming out from that either. I think they're gonna, talk about it on the earnings call. But if it is actually delayed, well, then that's not gonna be good for the stock. But then if we fast forward to June and July, I think things are gonna look a whole lot different. We're actually gonna see what unsupervised FSD is gonna look like, and for me, going or investing in Tesla was because of that, right? Of the unsupervised FSD and robo taxis actually happening. And Kathy Woods did say that as soon as this thing is up and running, now I'm not going to say as soon as they're up and running, but let's say by September or by October or January when the quarters come out, earnings report come out, they have to at least give us some numbers on what they project on robo taxis will be within the US. And then I don't know, in other countries that'll be different. Maybe they'll say something like, yeah, we're growing at 30% every quarter at, I don't know, this much in terms of profits. Then these analysts, they have to add it into their spreadsheets, and you're going to see, I expect to see some sort of a bump in the stock because of that, because I don't think any analysts have any idea what their projections would be. They're just putting it in there. What I see what analysts doing is that they're just adding robotaxi in their valuation, but they're not putting how much it's going to grow by. I think once Tesla does clarify this for them, things will change, and things will change, pretty quickly. Depends how fast and quick they move with their full self-driving or robotaxis within the US. Yes, Jen.
So, Pejjy, I had a question for you because I feel like you would be the person that would know this answer.
Okay. Let's see.
With the new Roadster, right? So all the Roadsters were already paid for, but I don't know if they've acknowledged that money because they haven't delivered the Roadsters yet. So my question is two parts. One, have they acknowledged the money that they got for Roadster? Because everybody who pre-ordered a Roadster paid $250,000 up front. And then if they have not counted that yet on the balance sheet, what happens in the quarter when they deliver Roadster? Because I think it's coming. I mean, there is a Roadster. It's not the old Roadster. It's a new Roadster, and it's orange, and it's sitting there in the lobby at Giga Texas. So I think, Elon is notorious for Easter eggs. And I feel like it was a big Easter egg because there was only one photo I saw at all. And it was from Joe Tegmeyer. And Joe, he's amazing. He's integrated in the community. He's been doing this photography at Giga Texas and down at SpaceX. He does amazing photography and stuff too. So I feel like if anybody's going to capture it, it would be him. And, but you're not seeing a whole lot of other photos. And I just have this feeling that it's like one of Elon's Hail Mary plays that he's just going to pull out of nowhere, where he's going to be like, well, hey, I know that car sales haven't been great because, interest rates and macroeconomics, but guess what? We sold all these Roadsters and we get to realize it on the balance sheet, this quarter. And I'm not saying it's this quarter, maybe it's Q2 or Q3, but I feel like we're going to hear something about the new Roadster. So what are your thoughts on that, Pejjy? Like, did they already count the money? And if they haven't counted the money, how much is it and how would it impact our balance sheet?
Well, I don't think it's added in their income statement, because in their income statement, they would only report what's been delivered. So they would not add this in. But I do think this is included in their accounts receivables, because they have collected the money. Because they can't just, they collect the money, but, where is it? So I think it's in account receivables. And I don't know how many of them would be sold. I mean, how many do you think? 100, 1,000? Because, $250,000 is a lot of money for someone that just want to park it in for somewhere that's uncertain on when they're going to get, their car. So, I mean, what is that? If it's 100 Roadsters, that's what? That's, 25 million or something like that. I mean, that doesn't really move anything.
I think they sold 200 or more than 200, and I
So,
feel like that they
yeah.
could deliver 200 cars. 200 cars is not that much. So, how much is 200? That's a lot.
That's 50 million. I mean, that's really not much. I mean,
It's a pretty complicated car, though. I mean, it's got
yeah.
like the SpaceX boosters and everything, right? So I'm imagine that the production line, getting that up, like the production, like the upfront capital cost to like get that up and running, would probably be capital intensive, unless maybe they're trying to investigate a way to like figure out a way to borrow parts from pre-existing, models and integrate. But I know that there's definitely a collaboration with SpaceX on the top tier version with the space boosters, like a car that jumps. It's pretty hilarious. Car that jumps.
I can't wait to see what it does too. I know. Well, Franz did tweet, "This car flies," literally, and then he deleted it eventually. But then Elon has made similar statements. So, maybe in this time where the economics are difficult, right? Maybe we show our excellence in tech, because like, who else has a flying car? I mean, it's going to have like 30 boosters on it or something. Last I saw from Elon, that's pretty impressive. And then, like, are they going to open up ordering for that? Now, I think the reason we haven't seen the order page open for Semi is, one, it's back ordered significantly, and two, we have major like constraints on batteries. So maybe Elon will be making some statements on batteries. We know that that's been the limiting factor for quite some time. It's been something that's really irritated him, because I believe that we have amazing products and we could be producing so much more of them, but there's only so many batteries to go around. And Semi and Roadster are both very battery heavy products, but Semi solves the issue of towing. When you can tow electrically, like, that opens up enormous markets,
Hey,
not
Jennifer, when
only
you mean
for.
battery, do you mean the 4680 line? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just
No,
curious.
you're fine. You can interrupt me. I'll just keep talking. No, well, not only the 4680 cells, but also just like having enough raw materials to produce enough batteries, or getting enough batteries for the vehicles and everything. I really think that's what's holding up Semi, because I mean, they have Semi. They've delivered several of them to PepsiCo, which is awesome. But like, when are they going to deliver more? And some of the tax incentives for Semi in some of these states are incredible. Like in California, if you were able to order a Semi in California, I want to say it would cost you like $60,000 after all of the tax incentives, which just blows my mind. New York is the same way. You can't get a Mack truck for anywhere near that. They're way more. They're hundreds of thousands of dollars. So, and then the maintenance is so different. Like, I'll tell you, I have a diesel, I've got a diesel Sprinter chassis on my RV, and the maintenance is expensive. It's very expensive to maintain. So I would imagine, like, a diesel Mack truck, the maintenance is outrageous, and the maintenance on a all electric Tesla Semi is nothing, basically. So, once they're able to mass produce the Semi, I mean, that product I think is going to print.
Wasn't there a bill that was struck down that Elon was really relying on that allowed the semi truck to go from California all the way to South Texas?
Wait, what do you mean? Like
There,
what?
there was a plan. It was it was a California to Texas corridor, and it was specifically designed for the Tesla semi truck. And they were going to put along, the Tesla semi chargers along this route, but Congress struck it down, or they stopped it. There's a news article about 4 weeks ago.
Well, that's a very good point about the infrastructure, that we definitely need infrastructure for semi. However, it's not really that difficult because it's just electricity, like when I drive my little RV around, right, and I want to plug in somewhere and have full power, I need to find a 30 amp service, and so really it's just finding, it's just installing the service that's large enough for, I'm sure, the giant plug, because when you have the higher service like that, 30 amp, 50 amp and higher, the plugs get comically large, by the way. But yeah, infrastructure. But that's one of the things that President Trump ran on, and one of the Republican like strongholds is that, we need to make American infrastructure better. I mean, we had a boat hit a major bridge in, where was it, Maryland, and the bridge fell down. Like, what are we even doing here?
Baltimore. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So, I think that infrastructure is really important in the United States. And I think that's why we will see spending for the power grids, for stabilizing the grids. And there's no better way to stabilize a grid than long duration energy storage. And I think that we are going to see an expansion of the electric chargers, because they're not that expensive, and what we get out of them is so much. Like, if we could get all of the semi trucks flipped over to electric over the next decade in the United States, it would significantly lower like the cost of shipping, which is really important. If President Trump wants us to not be reliant on China, we need to find other ways that we can save money. Like, maybe we would end up spending more on American labor, but we can save on shipping, because right now we have to ship all the cheap Chinese crap across the Pacific Ocean. And we lose tankers all the time, by the way. Well, in like freight liners and stuff like that. That happens. They sink, and so then you have like stop loss issues because you're losing product out at sea. And you have to pay for all that fuel. Ships are not cheap. Like, international shipping is not cheap. So if we can ship domestically for so much less money, then it'll kind of even out on those labor costs. And so I guess my point being, there's so many moving parts to manufacturing that there's a lot of places where, okay, well, we can't optimize here, but what if we can optimize over here? And I think that electric shipping is going to be one of those places.
Hey Jen, you just mentioned something that excited me again. It's the semi, and I think Xander has a order in for a semi. Um, but as someone who's in supply chain, uh, I can't wait for the day that the 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 semi fleet in the U.S. transitions over to, in a meaningful way, into electric semis, because right now I think it's about 30 somewhat percent. Sometimes it goes up to about 35% of the total trucking costs for, let's say, point A to point B is fuel surcharge (FECs). And imagine if you could take that and use that, like convert that into, let's say, an electric surcharge, and build out and improve the national grid. It would be so much savings for everyone. um and what you call it, the regarding the I just wanted to add, I mean, it has nothing to do with semis, but when you mentioned about shipping costs and everything, um, I just want to briefly mention that even when these tariffs are all said and done, um, the surge in international shipping Because right now, more and more shippers and suppliers are holding containers or inventory at origin. These importers have been canceling their bookings left and right. And I hope everyone remembers during COVID, a trans-Pacific container going from China to LA prior to COVID and prior to these tariffs was roughly about, let's say, 2,500 for a 40-foot container. Uh, TP traffic coming from China to the East Coast was, let's say, around 3,000, 3,500. Well, in COVID, that went up to the 20s and $30,000 per container. And each week that goes by, I'm not sure if your viewers know that this is basically like all the terminals in the world: LA, Newark, Busan, Qingdao, Shanghai, all shutting down. Let's say everyone had a strike. It's basically that, Jen. It's like, and what happened is that every week that goes by, we lose about 3 to 4 weeks at minimum on the ramp up. So if 2 weeks goes by, we're going to need at least a month and a half to 2 months for the supply chain to get anywhere back to normalization. So I think why I said this when I shared this, it has to do with a little bit with Tesla. Why? Because this is the first time that I can remember that I'm not focusing on numbers. I'm excited about the announcement. And that's kind of maybe cute to say, but I'm also an investor and trader. So what I do is I go back to what happened in Q1 in 24. Um, a, a lot of you may remember the numbers were rough. And contrary to what people thought, eventually, I think within 2 months, it ran up 85, 90%. So my point is, no one knows how the market is going to react to these numbers. But I'm excited about the announcement. And the announcements, like Pejjy says, is all about potentially lower cost models. But and Jen, I agree with you when you mentioned it at the beginning. This environment not might be ideal for lower cost models in the U.S. Um, I can foresee. I wouldn't be surprised. Let's say this. I wouldn't be surprised that Elon and his management pivot and say focus on FSD and Austin. And I think what that will allow them to do is, and this, by the way, what I mentioned before kind of is related, because let's say the economy, not just the US, because supply chain we all know is all interlinked. Let's say the world needs at least 3 to 6 months to recover from this fiasco. Then that leads to the end of the year. And I think Elon mentioned that their plan was to ramp up robo taxis by mid 26. So I think if we get the lower cost model sometime in 26, I think that would really give people, well, in the interim, people are going to see Austin. They're going to see, hopefully Tesla rolls out to other cities. And what people, that's going to act as, let's say, uh, firsthand experiences, uh, uh, increasing awareness to Tesla. And when that would serve as like not stepping stone, but as a catalyst for people to maybe place in their orders at the beginning of 26. And that would be a good runway, a nice ramp to the lower cost models. I think even if they announce the lower cost models in this market environment, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if it it had maybe a little bump, but not the bump that we Tesla shareholders were like anticipating or hoping for. I would be just very grateful that if it, has a nice little bounce, goes back into the 300s after earnings and Austin, and we kind of gain footing in that 300 zone. Because every time I think Tesla has these parabolic moves, um, it tends to kind of give back a nice chunk. But when Tesla mm, kind of mm, trades in these, or yeah, trades in these, and these wide ranges without parabolic moves, in other words, has price acceptance. I hope that as an investor, would love to see Tesla have price acceptance in the 300s. And then when the economy, worldwide economy, normalizes, supply chains normalize, Elon is able to kick it into fifth gear per se, and follow through on his. And this is assuming if there's the announcement involves putting some projects on the back burner. If not, we get all the great news that we were anticipating. But if not, we'll wait for the world economy to normalize. We get everything back in place, and I don't think Elon is saying or trying to communicate, can Tesla do it? No. FSD 13.2.8 shows everyone every day that it's not a matter of if, everything is a matter of when. And I think we as investors need to be patient, especially in next week, no matter what happens, to kind of remember it's not if anymore. Elon has showed enough, we have experienced enough that we are Tesla is on a different level. Um, and Wall Street is just bean counting. It's that's their job. I don't fault them for that, but we can't let that affect.
But at the
Um,
same time, though, Wall Street, like they hold the cards in terms of like, market sentiment. They also, to a certain extent are very ingrained in like the media. So they drive the narrative a bit like to people beyond
oh
us
yeah,
who are like hyperboles, right? Who know about like I wouldn't call myself like a hyperbole. I try to, challenge my bull thesis a lot of times because I always think of like, okay, what are some challenges that the company could potentially face? And I agree. Like it would be nice to see a bounce back up to the 300s.
mm,
But I think from a macroeconomic standpoint and also from a geopolitical standpoint, there's so many variables like that are going on. Like I think we're what like 100 days into this administration, and they're still trying to like negotiate deals with people. And there's like leaks that, oh well, there's like a deal with this company, this country, and that country, but it's like nothing's really like set in stone, right? And so I think everybody's all trying to figure out like how they're going to work with each other, how they're going to kind of like work together, to kind of team up against China, right? Like that seems like what's going on, and it's all like a game of musical chairs. So I think there's still going to be a bit of uncertainty, like baked into the stock a bit for the near term future. Not saying like, oh, Pejjy, you're crazy to think 500 in the in June or July, but I still like, and it's not me saying that at all. Like I could totally see where you're coming from, but for me, I'm just kind of like, well, there's still a lot of factors like in the world going on right now that we just we just we just don't know what we don't know. It's kind of where I come from.
yeah, Vivek.
Friend, let me chime in here a little bit. I I I listen to Cern Dasher and I'm loving it. Don't have crazy number. If you guys have time, go look in Pejjy YouTube channel and look for the Cern episode. Like I listen to them before I go to bed. That's how I like it so much. It's not like Henry say. It's not if. If someone can do it, it's Elon. And I say this every week. I'm gonna keep saying it until it's become true. What are you guys gonna value? the amount, what is the value of the unlimited labor? We're not talking about high labor like a doctor, like eye surgery, and the low labor. Not even low. In my Bay Area, plumber is very expensive. In the labor like plumber, or even babysit, or even go to go get material for you if your home renovation. That kind of labor, how are you gonna value it if it's unlimited? If it's a machine that build a machine, so I'm not understand the Wall Street, and I'm not trying to be them. I'm not. I'm the student of Peter Lynch. You know, I
I'm here.
understand. Yeah, I understand a business, and I stay all in. I'm stay in. If my stock is go from 14 to $2, what I do, I go for a while and I buy more $2. It's called dollar cost average.
You know,
That's
you guys
my
talk about like a couple hundreds, like above like where we're at. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna
yeah.
cryogenically freeze myself and like wake myself up in like maybe like 20 years, and then I think I'll be happier then.
No, don't do that. No, do you know what happened to the cryo people? Did you hear what happened recently? That
No, what happened?
oh my God. All right. So apparently some of
Wait
the
a second. Wait a
huh.
second. Jennifer told me I have a bunch of money, and I was gonna go all in at 3:30, and Jennifer told me like, hey, don't. It's gonna go 250, and I believe her. And my a bunch of money go in at 220. I'm so happy about it. So
I'm so happy about it. I'm so happy
I
that you listened to me.
I listened to her. I was gonna go all in that Friday. It's like 3:30, cheap as shit. And she's like, fine, don't. Next Tuesday it's gonna be 250. And I'm like, oh, what? So I'm wait. So all that aside, being in the stock market take a stomach, and it take a steel of ball. I'm a girl, I don't have ball, but I grow up hair, and it's a steel. Since since I own Tesla, You cannot spook me out of the Q1 number, Q2 number, Model Y refresh, and we don't have the best-selling car to sell. You cannot spook me out of that. And the fuck Elon speaker don't spook me out. Because I see the robot. Because I see the Gigafactory in India. Because I see all the leader of the country that line up to talk to my CEO. I see it. And people who actually good at number like CERN, or people who curious about everything about Tesla like Herbert or Jeff Lutz or Alexander Boomer Mama, like those people, they're digging a homework for all of us. I'm going to Pejjy. First minute he's saying like grateful for this community. I never see something like this. This is like right on my forehead, my friend. And close your eye and imagine one more time the school bus right now, and the school bus that make from Tesla Robo van. We have Roadster, we have Robo van, we have the sexy model, and we're gonna have something new coming. Other than it's gonna be motorbike and Model 3, strip out a bunch of stuff, make it cheaper, or pump out something like a Cybercab and make it super cheap, like sub 25K. The rest of the world is looking, and no one have the integrate. No one have everything working together like Tesla. So no one have Grock in their car. So hang in there. Don't get all negative, juju. Don't get a naysayer. Get under your skin. It's not. It's not what they say. It's what they do. And this Tuesday is like excited, excited, excited. Okay, this is all I want to leave you guys with today. I'm gonna hand the mic to Jennifer, and then hand the mic to Pejjy. And if the speaker have something to add, you welcome. Thank you, my friend. Okay, Jen.
Well, I loved everything in this space. I did want to acknowledge something that Tesla Bubblehead had said earlier about Atlanta. Atlanta traffic is legitimately the worst traffic in the United States because I drive all over. I've driven in all the major markets you could think are shitty. And I'm telling you that Atlanta's so terrible that when I drive to Texas from Virginia in the winter, when I have to go the southern route, I go all the way to Jacksonville, Florida, and then over on Route 10. It to go through Atlanta is I don't over 100 miles less, and I avoid it like the plague. So the fact that FSD can handle Atlanta traffic and that he can feel relaxed in Atlanta traffic. The last time I was in Atlanta, it wasn't even rush hour, guys. It was not even fucking rush hour. And it took 3 hours to cross the stupid city because it's not built for the amount of people that are there. So that's really impressive to me knowing how bad Atlanta traffic it was. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. And then Henry had said something about shipping and COVID. And I don't know if you guys remember when Evergreen got stuck in the Suez Canal, but it was like one stupid ship got stuck in the damn canal and it screwed the, oh, I'm losing my thought now. All the stuff going everywhere. Supply chain. That was the word. Supply chain. It totally screwed the supply chain for like a year, y'all. For like a year. So, and that's not the only little bitty canal that's out there because there's also the Panama Canal. So, if we can change how things are shipped worldwide and in the US, that's going to be major. And I agree with Fa. I can see all of this coming. I guess that's why I'm a little flippant about the price of the stock all the time because I'm like, well, who cares if it's down? Just buy more. I'm with Pa on that because I think in the long run, you give it just a couple of years. Holy wow! I mean, Tesla's going to reshape how we do business. I can't say that about other companies. So, and it is true. I like the stock at 250. Henry was saying he would like to see the price acceptance at 300 plus. I think we legitimately have price acceptance at 250, and I'm pretty happy with that because the economy is in the shitter right now, guys. I mean, we're in a trade war. There's a lot going on, and the company's still running, and we're holding pretty okay at 250. Does it dip a little? Yeah. Does it go up a little? Yeah. But it's pretty stable. Like I'm very happy with that in this environment. So I agree with Fa about sentiment and stuff like that. Like I'm really positive, and that's just kind of my 2 cents. And I just wanted to wish everybody a very happy Easter weekend, even if you're not, if you don't observe Easter. I hope you're still having a great weekend. So that's all I have. Pejjy, on to you.
Sheesh, bring on the dips is what I always say. It's crazy that the fact that we're in 2025 and the stock's at 240 or 250. It's just absolutely mind blowing. I mean, anyways, we all know the future of this company. We all know how it's gonna shape and change everything. Of course, if you're focusing on the autos, you're doing a mistake. You have to look more deeper into it, which is the energy, FSD, robo taxis, the bots, all that kind of stuff. That's the main things. The fact that we're getting, pretty much robo taxi rollout in June, it's absolutely like it's here, like it's literally here. And after whenever Europe accepts the approval for the supervised FSD, guys, Tesla is gonna have FSD in 3 continents. Like that's just think about that for a second. 3 continents.
Fucking dope.
You know what I mean? Like
So dope.
like just
So- and it's stock at 240. I'm like, buy.
that's what I mean. Like, like everyone's eyeing like everybody's eyeing the autos, but then they don't see the FSD in 3 different continents. Like it's crazy. And whatever happens in the US is a foreshadow to what's going to happen everywhere else. And if people had patience, if investors have patience, and if they can, have a long horizon, 5 to 10 years, they're going to be rewarded nicely. I mean, not financial advice, but when you're seeing what's happening, why would you care about autos? Anyways, that's just my thoughts. It's just a good long-term hold, and those what's that quote that Warren Buffett said that's very very famous and true. The
When
wealth.
be greedy, when others are fearful.
No, it's that and
Eh,
and the other one. It's like wealth gets transferred from the impatient to the patient. That's the one, and
oh, that's late. That's
yeah.
100%.
I can clearly see this with Tesla in the long term. The only catch is that you got to hold it long term. That's it. That's it. But that's all. That's all I have to say. And it was the Shishi podcast. I love it. Thank you, all the speakers. Is there any? Is there anyone who wants to speak? As
Me.
Yeah.
okay, let's go bubble head
Okay,
first.
go
Let's go
to
bubble.
Jamie
Yeah,
first and then me.
yeah.
I did go back and I found that it was the Tesseract corridor. It's a transportation electrification supporting semis operating in Arizona, California, and Texas. And Tesla has says that even though they were snubbed on that, they're still going to push forward, but it did delay things. And then the last thing I had was I think there's some truth to Omar's renaming FSD to TSD. And it'll be really interesting on that company call to see if
What is that?
so instead of calling it full self-driving, when the Cybercab debuts, they're going to switch it to Tesla self-driving. But I don't know, is he just making a joke or is he kind of giving us a hint? But it makes sense. FSD's had a lot of negativity. Tesla self-driving doesn't imply that the way full self-driving does that it does it by itself. So yeah, that's it. And Elon's I swear 2023 2024 Elon mentioned that 2025 was going to be a really hard year. Yeah, I'm just not scared. I'm just gonna be patient and keep on buying. You guys have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you to everyone that here enjoy the weekend recap with me and Pejjy and definitely beautiful Jennifer. Thank you to all the speakers that here. I'm all the Saturday noon is always like my excited time. I sometimes I didn't do homework at all because I'm busy, and sometimes I come with like full information. But you guys here making me smarter. You guys here is get like legit, and I love every one of you. Go follow all the speaker. Go look at Pejjy YouTube video and go buy my spice to your friend. All right. I love you all. Until next Saturday. This is fun. Next time, don't be shy. Come talk to us. All right. Love you. Bye bye.
And
Take
buy
care,
her spice
guys.
because it's awesome.
Bye.
See you guys. Bye bye. And we are done. Sheesh. My God. Oof. 2 hours. Oh, over 2 hours. God damn, that's a lot. And you guys are going crazy in the comments. Mainly, it's all bears. Where's my moderator? We need to get this moderator here on more timing. Sheesh. Anyways, I'll be going live in 3 days' time on April 22nd for the earnings call and report. It's gonna be a 3-hour session. It's gonna be flipping awesome. So make sure you guys tune in for that. Anyways, smash that like button, everyone. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, and I shall see you guys in the next video. See ya.